Welcome to another episode of Icon Presents. Here to talk to us about our newest single titled California and all our upcoming projects, ladies and gentlemen, joining me from Nashville, Tennessee, Icon Presents, Jess Wright.
I can't see the road anymore. But I know I'm headed to the shore. Think that I just ran a red light. But nothing's stopping me tonight. In a two-horse town, I left with 160, letting go of a job that won't miss me, chasing visions of where I'll be, shining in the Golden State, in the hills of California. Oh, I'm driving away. Feeling like I haven't ever felt. Whoa, my skin is made of bells, and I cannot tell you how I steer. The valleys are singing in my ear. In a two-horse town, I left with 160, letting go of a job that won't miss me, chasing visions of where I'll be, shining in the Golden State, in the hills of California. Whoa, I'm driving away. Two weeks in, I am finally home. In a place that I have never known. Feels like I can breathe again. In a two-horse town, I left with 160, letting go of a job that won't miss me, chasing visions of where I'll be, shining in a two-horse town. I left with 160, letting go of a job that won't miss me. I'm finding out what it means to be running low, lost and free, in the hills of California. Whoa, I'm driving away.
righty, welcome Jess Wright. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. That was an amazing performance.
Thank you.
I gotta say, that was great. I am really interested to know kind of the story behind that song.
Yeah.
Can you give us some information on that?
Absolutely. So a couple years ago when I lived in California for several years, about 6 years. And about 2 years into living in California, I still didn't quite feel home. And my best friend, Jessie, we went up to the San Bernardino mountain range. And we were just driving through those hills.
Yeah.
And we're listening to Gypsy by Fleetwood Mac. And I just got like such a strong like vibe and feeling of home for the first time in California. So when I got back home, I wanted to write a song kind of about that, about like finding home in the hills, because that was, like I said, the first time that I really felt like this could be my place. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's what California was based on. And, I came from a small town, so there's a little bit of inspiration from there. But for the most part, I just wanted to write about finding home in a new place.
Okay. Got you. So that song is about finding home in California. Yeah. But you no longer live in California.
That's true. Yeah.
So what caused you to move from California?
So, I have a mentor that lives in Austin, Texas, and we were chatting one day, and he said to me, if you want to grow and if you want to do the things that you're talking about doing, then you need to go somewhere that's going to have the opportunities that you're looking for kind of baked in. And San Diego was the best place for me to be at that time of my life. And then I felt like it was time for me to go challenge myself somewhere else. Yeah. Right. Test out new waters. Make sure the other thing too is that I feel like, if you grow and are celebrated in the place where you're incubated, then that's one thing. But if you can transplant yourself to somewhere else and create a good reputation, that's a good test of strength. So I wanted to challenge myself with that. And Nashville kind of seemed just like the best place. I went to school there and I liked it there. And, notoriously it's the big music business spot. Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So how have you kind of adapted to that new change for you?
Yeah, it's been challenging for sure. Because when I was in San Diego, I was very lucky and got to play shows like sometimes 5 times a week, regularly throughout the year. And it's not only the business side of it, it's also the personal side of it. I was living in a new place and I was, reestablishing myself as a person and then also trying to build my business back up. Right. So it's been challenging in a really great way. Pushing me to, enhance my marketing skills, enhance my songwriting skills, just get better all around at what I do. And I feel like I'm growing a lot.
I got you. Do you think your sound and your music has changed since going to Tennessee?
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit. But, what's funny is that for the most part, what it did for me is it helped me to define what I wanted my sound to be.
Okay. And what do you want that to be?
Yeah, I really like classic singer-songwriter stuff. Right? Okay. So things like James Taylor, Joni Mitchell, Norah Jones, right? Those songs that sound timeless, John Prine, right? Those songs that sound timeless and that seem to, transcend genre a little bit, where you could do it in any genre. Yeah. Right. That's what I aspire to write. And that doesn't mean that I don't write genre specific music sometimes. But that's where my arrow's pointed.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. So you think that your experience in Tennessee has kind of helped you evolve as an artist?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. What would you say have been the biggest challenges you've been dealing with in that? Because I would assume that, like you said, finding you gotta get new venues. Nobody knows you out there. You're starting from scratch, basically. What would be the biggest challenge? Do you ever feel like, man, maybe I may have made a mistake? Like, was this the best move for me?
So there's a philosophy that I live by, which is, it's kind of no regrets, but someone put it really well the other day, and I've been using this for the last year or so. How does it go? You don't make the right choices, you make your choices right.
Okay.
Right. So the choices that I make with intention. And
Gotcha.
as I flow through my life, I try to remember that these are my choices. And
Right.
it's not my job to know what the future is. It's my job to do the best with what I have.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm not making choices that in my gut I know are wrong, which I've done that a couple of times in my life, you know?
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
We all do. And you know, the choices that I've made when I thought that they were the best choice that I could make at the time, I've never regretted.
Okay.
So 0 regrets. With all the challenges, I will never regret making that move, right? Yeah. But it's definitely, it's a bigger challenge. It's a bigger market, right? And out there, it's in San Diego, there's a lot more like grassroots, small business supporting small artists kind of vibes, right? And out there, you can find that in pockets, but the big business is all about, are you going to be the next megastar?
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't see myself so much as a Taylor Swift type as much as like a James Taylor type, where like if my songs get really popular, then that is amazing. And I would love that. And I would love to, you know, tour and spend my life sharing music with people.
Right.
But as far as like the big entertainer side of it, like that's not how my brand quite lines up, you know? So I'm trying to find and trying to establish my pocket, right? Trying to establish where that classic sound fits in the market today. And I'm still looking for it.
I got you.
Yeah.
So give me a bit of a rundown on your creative process. Because I've listened to your music. Obviously, we've known each other for quite a while. I remember my very first time actually ever hearing your music, I actually had the opportunity to edit and mix one of your, because you did, was the podcast called Spotlight San Diego, Music Spotlight San Diego, right? With the host Gary, and who's now hosting a various shows similar to that, to the same thing, but I believe it's a little bit different. But I always notice you have a very unique voice, and you have a very warm tonality to your voice and everything. And then your songs, they're very, I would say very deep. I listen to, and obviously with this platform and being in the music industry and all that stuff for quite a while, a lot of people have very kind of surface level music and art and everything like that. Give me a bit about your creative process on how you write your songs.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all that, by the way. That's very nice. I started writing songs because it was kind of like, it felt like my outlet, my diary. It was at a transitional part in my life. I was just getting out of college, and I was feeling lost and without a kind of like driving force in my life. And I was looking for that, and music has always been an outlet for me. So the very foundations of me songwriting has always kind of been trying to figure out life.
Yeah.
Right. And I like carrying that through with what I do today, because I think that the most pivotal songs in my life are the songs that let me feel what I didn't have the words to express.
I got you.
Right. And it made me feel like I was a part of a larger community, even if I didn't know how to say what I was feeling. Right. And that is something that I want to do with my music. I want to create that community. I want to let people know that that what they're feeling, whether it's extremely happy or extremely sad or extremely complicated, is something that we all go through in our own stories. And I think that, you know, all music has a place and all music can be celebrated. And I love music that, you know, doesn't have a whole lot of content, but just makes you feel good. Yeah. Right. So I love that too. But with the music I write, I've also found, you know, that I have gotten feedback from people that have a little bit of skill in it. And I think that if that's a gift that I have, then I want to do my best to make that its best and bring that to the world.
I got you. That's awesome. And so you were going over your musical inspirations. Yeah. You said Norah Jones and various other ones. Do you have anybody like that you would, your dream collaboration would be with?
Oh, gosh. James
New or
Taylor
old?
James Taylor would be really great.
Yeah.
You know, I have my idols, of course. So all the people I listed, James Taylor, Joni Mitchell, Norah Jones would be at the top of that list.
Yeah.
Um,
What if we go new people out there?
yeah.
Now, do you have anybody out that you're like, maybe you run into or whatever like that? You'd be like, man, I would love to just work with this person one day.
You know, I really like what Noah Khan is doing.
Okay.
For sure. Like Ray LaMontague.
Okay.
He's great. I
Yeah.
also love Billie Eilish.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I love people who find their style and their voice and kind of just go for it, you know, go all in on what they do.
Yeah.
I really respect it. And I think that some of the best art happens that way.
Oh, I agree with that 100% because there's so many clones out there of like, all right, this person sounds like this person or whatever like that. But if you find something unique that you really enjoy doing and you're able to like really focus on that and let that grow and be inspired, man, it puts you in a league of its own right there. It's like for me, whenever I write songs, I tend to write songs. Like I find that I don't write songs that belong in a specific type of genre. I found that I write things that are more dramatic.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's hard to explain, but like, I guess there's a whole playlist and all that kind of stuff that you, in kind of a whole field of songs that were created, but then you have the trailer versions. Like if you have a song that is used for a movie trailer, there's a different version of that that song that's used rather than the original one that was the radio version, right?
Yeah.
I find that the trailer version of that song, that's what I gravitate towards.
Yeah.
And then when I write music, that's the real dramatic stuff like that. No matter what genre it is, it always goes into all these different things like that. And it's quite intense and it's quite insane. People are like, my gosh, man, that was a bit much. But that's my thing.
Yeah.
But I love it. And that's what resonates with me. The same way that you have your style that resonates with you.
Right.
For up and coming artists that are kind of like maybe afraid to take risk like you are doing, right? Yeah. What kind of advice would you give them?
You know, I think that there's space for everybody, right? And I think one of the biggest fallacies is, you know, with social media, we feel like it's kind of both. Everything is at our fingertips, but there's also scarcity, right? And there's that weird dichotomy that I think makes people believe that, you know, they are not special or it's really hard to be special. I think that everyone has a unique voice. And the hard part is tapping into it. Right? Like I don't sit down and write a song and know exactly what I want to say all the time, right? Like sometimes things pour out and that's awesome. But most of the time I have to sit down and I have to really like ask myself like what I'm feeling and get into the weeds, be my own therapist a little bit, right? And I think there's really scary areas in life that we have to wade into to get to what we really want to say.
I got you.
But if we can do that, then everyone has a unique voice. Everyone has a unique style. Everyone has something to say and bring to the table. So trusting that you are valuable and digging into yourself and learning from others. Part of digging into yourself is to be open to what's around you and to learn, of course. But trying to find whatever that light is in you and follow it, I think 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, that's going to steer you right. And even if it steers you wrong, that light is going to turn and change direction. And, you know, that's just the path of life is following that.
Very true. Yeah. Very true. So tell me, what's coming for you? Like what's coming up next for you?
So I have a few different songs that I have recorded and I'm planning out some releases.
Okay.
I also very excitedly was able to record 6 original Christmas songs.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Here in San Diego with my friend Steven. So that was really amazing.
Shout out to Steven.
So I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to turn out great. I got my friend Dan in on drums, who I hadn't seen in a year. And he's one of those amazing drummers that just knows from my body language what I want.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have that come out later this year.
Awesome. Okay, so you got that project coming out. any new events or anything like that coming out for you?
Great question. So I'm finishing a tour here in San Diego.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Reason why I had to get you on the show. I was like, Jess, you're in town. We got to get you in the show.
I was so excited when you reached out. This is awesome. And I've seen so many cool people on the show, so I feel honored to be included. So I'm doing that. And then I'm back in Nashville writing songs, doing writers rounds. I usually do a couple of writers rounds a month and just work on building all those relationships and writing better songs.
Awesome. So tell people where they can find you, what kind of projects and everything like that, what platforms you're on and all of that good.
Yeah. I am on all the regular stuff, Spotify, iTunes, all the smaller ones too, the lesser known ones, I should say.
Okay.
I'm on everything. My DistroKid just sends it out everywhere. I have a YouTube channel. You can find me there. I'm on Instagram. That's where I keep most of my updates. Mm-hmm. I also push those out to Facebook. But yeah, I would say Instagram, Spotify are the two big tickets. And then, whatever you're using to get your information, I'm there too.
I got you. Now, you recently put out a album about a year ago, right?
Oh yeah, it was. I think it was an EP in 2022. Actually,
yeah. Okay, that was 2022.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Oh yeah. It was in 2022 because I remember I was sitting there and I was listening to it. I was in my living room and I was sitting there on my couch listening to that, and I was like, "You have some that's what I say. You have some very deep and thought out songs. Your songwriting process is very interesting because you're your messaging and everything like that is always, I guess, uplifting and kind of sentimental. It's like, it's a very good way of kind of getting, being able to connect with you and kind of tell like your story. You do a really good job of telling your story through your music, which is surprising because that message doesn't come across for a lot of people. It doesn't, not everybody is able to convey basically and do real storytelling when it comes to songwriting the way you do it. And do you have any training when it comes to that? Or are you just writing how you feel and you're just amazing at it?
Oh, gosh. Again, thank you. I work really hard at trying to make good stories because, when you sit down and you're just feeling something, sometimes you don't know how to say it. But no, so at the end of college, my last semester, I got a semester of a songwriting course and that was really fun. And at the time,
I can tell you paid attention in that course.
Thank you. And it was a cool course because we mostly studied like how songs work, right? Like what makes a song just convey a message. Right. And it wasn't so much genre specific. It wasn't how to write a pop song. It was just how to write a song that gets your point across.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I'm a big fundamentals person in everything I do. So I always try to return to those fundamentals of like what it means to just say what you mean and mean what you say and have that be true.
Gotcha. Now, if my memory serves me correct, but correct me if I'm wrong, that EP that you had released, that was produced in Tennessee, right?
That was in Texas. Austin, Texas.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was done in Texas.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I never forget, and this is the reason why I brought this up, because you work with Steven. You came down to Icon and you work with Steven to do the Christmas project that you're going to be releasing, probably, obviously later on. But I remember listening to that one, and I remember coming into the studio and telling Steven, I was like, "Hey, did you hear Jess's new EP?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I said, "I think we can do better." And he was like, "I think so too." He was like, "I wanted to." So I will say, I'm putting this out there. I'm putting the spotlight on you right now in the future. Because I remember some time ago, I reached out to you and I told you, I said, I want to shoot a music video.
Yeah.
I have a whole idea of how I want to do it. I haven't mapped out and I've yet to forget about it. I know we're only in town for a short time, but one of these times when you're in town, we are going to make that happen.
I love it.
It's a dream of ours to do it. And we are definitely going to make that happen. And I know Steven absolutely is a dream of his and he loves actually absolutely working with you. And so it's always a pleasure to have you come through the studio.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure, and it feels like, coming to see old friends. Every time I get to come through here. I mean, we've known each other for 3 years
Yeah.
now. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I feel lucky to have good friends. And yes, the answer is always yes to do anything with you guys. The answer is 1,000% yes. Now, that studio has some of my favorite people, and they are amazing at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I love what came out of that. And I remember when you and I were, because you had told me that, I think a couple years ago, you told me you were listening to it. And I remember when you told me that, I was thinking to myself, well, what would be like really like an awesome thing to do in that studio? Like what, if I had to pick a song that I felt like would just like knock it out of the park with you guys. Although you guys knock everything out of the park, so that's not the point. But I thought about OK OJ, which I played at that one gig, if you remember, and you guys were vibing with it. I was like, yeah, okay, my radar's on.
Yes, I remember that. You set it off with that one. I remember I was looking at my old videos on Instagram, and I came across a video that I had taken, and I think I recorded you and sent it to you.
Yeah.
Shoot. Oh man, I forgot about that one. Oh man, yeah, we're definitely
gonna do
stuff with that. Oh man, that is gonna be so much fun.
Actually, you know what? We did do it.
Did we?
Steven and I recorded it the last time I was in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
So now we just need to make a music video. It sounds
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Awesome.
Well, all right. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Again, tell the people where they can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and then anywhere you stream your music.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, follow Jess on all her social media platforms. Catch her on Spotify, Pandora, all the good stuff. And I just look forward to seeing everything that you have coming out in the future. Looking forward to putting my Christmas tree up and listening to your music on at the same time.
Love it.
It's going to be great. Well, with that being said, thank you so much. Y'all take care.